Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Donna Parsons here, and today we're going to be doing some easy editing in Photoshop. So if you've never used Photoshop, it's really an easy piece of software to learn. I've been teaching it for a very long time, and I'm going to show you some of my tricks on how to do this super quickly. So the photo on the left has background in it, and the photo on the right has the background removed. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to come up to the file and the menu across the top. We're going to come down to the word new, and we're going to create a new workspace. So I'm going to say new workspace. You can give it any name you want. And this is going to be a custom, and I want it to be exactly 1280 by 720, because that is the default thumbnail size, and that's why I create all my thumbnails in Photoshop for YouTube. So go ahead and click OK. So make sure it's 1280 by 720 in pixels, and make sure that that's what you want if you're going to be doing this for YouTube. Okay, background contents I'm just going to leave by default white, and go ahead and click OK. So now we have a blank new workspace, and on the right hand side you can see it says background, and it has a little eye to the left of it and a lock. All right, so if you don't have your layers palette on the right hand side, you're going to come up to window and across the top in your menu and over to workspace. You're going to make sure that the essentials has a check mark next to it, and there's your workspace should go by default, and your layers palette should show up on the right. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a transparent layer, because if we were to place our photo on this white piece of paper, well, first of all, it is locked, and secondly, I don't want to have the white background because that's what I'm trying to get rid of. All right, so I want to create a new transparent layer, and the way to do that is come down to the bottom right hand corner. Way over it says create a new layer. There's a piece of paper, so if you hover your mouse it says create new layer, and I want to left click my mouse once, and when I do, layer 1 appears in the layers palette. So I have layer 1 and I have background. So right now layer 1 is above or on top of background layer, meaning that it is actually on top of it. It's okay. So layer 1 right now is on top of the background layer, and what I just did is I just selected or left clicked on the eye to the left of the background layer to get rid of it, because I don't want to see it. All I want to see, I'm going to be working in my transparent layer, and you want to make sure that layer 1 is selected and it has the little eye next to it. So we're going to come up over, and we're going to open up now. I want to open up that photo, because what I want to do is I want to put the photo in, and I want to be able to take out the background. So I'm going to do File and Open, and I'm going to find my picture that I want to take with me or open up, and I'm going to open up that photo. Now when that photo opens up, it doesn't open up into our workspace, so we literally have to copy and paste it over there. So the way to do that in Photoshop is come up to the menu across the top, and you want to do Select All, and now I have a marquee that goes all the way around my photo. I want to do Edit, and I want to copy it. Then I want to come back to my new workspace and make sure that my layer 1 on the right hand side is selected and my visibility is also on, and I want to do Edit, and then I want to do Paste. Alright, so you can see that that photo is a lot bigger than my workspace, so I need to make it a lot smaller. And the way to do that is come up to Edit and Transform and Scale. So it's Edit, Transform, Scale. And when I do, you have these little circles that surround your picture. Now if I was to just start dragging these in and out, I can skewer or I can make it look off. So to keep the constraint proportions correctly, I'm going to hold down my Shift key on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag it down, so this way it is going to be a lot smaller. So I'm just dragging it down. I'm holding down my Shift key, and I'm still dragging it down. You can see it keeps it in perspective. There. Okay, so I still have the little circles that are surrounding this photo. And if I want to place it on my transparent layer now, I want to come up to my menu across the top and all the way to the right. It has either commit or cancel, all right? And until I do that, it won't let me do anything else. So I have to do either one or the other. So in this case, I want to click on little check mark and commit, and now those little sizing handles go away. If I want to drag and drop my photo on somewhere else within this page, I'm going to come up to my tools on the left-hand side, and the one all the way up on the top is called my Move tool. And when I left click on it once, it shows that it's highlighted now, and I can drag and drop my photo anywhere that I want within that transparent layer. That's how easy this is. If I want to zoom in, because I'm going to be working with pixels and I want to magnify this a little bit more, I'm going to come down to my zoom tool. My zoom tool is all the way at the bottom, and it is a little magnifying glass right below the little hand, and I'm going to left click my mouse right on that zoom tool, and my zoom tool has a little plus, and when I left click once, it zooms in, and that's as far as zooming in as I want. If you want to zoom back out, if you've done it too much, you're going to come across the top, and right under the word edit, you have a little plus or a little minus. So that minus would mean that I would zoom back out. The plus means I would zoom back in. So that's how easy this is to do. So if I want to zoom back out, there I go. If I want to zoom back in, I can zoom in. Super easy to do. Now what we want to do is we want to take some of this background out, or all of the background out, but obviously, you know, not take it all out. We want to make sure we're doing it correctly. So in our tools, the fourth tool down on the left-hand side, if I right-click my mouse, you have the quick selection tool, and then you have something called the magic wand. So I'm going to select with the left click of my mouse the magic wand, and you have something called the tolerance. So the tolerance means how many pixels it will pick up at any given time. So for example, by default, it's at 32. So I'm going to leave it at 32, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to left click my mouse, and you can see that it takes a real bulk of the background out, and it doesn't take anything that I don't want. So I kind of like that, so it's okay. And I'm going to press the backspace key on my keyboard. In order to get rid of that marquee now that's surrounding, I'm going to hold down my control key on my keyboard and press the keyboard on the keyboard, the letter D as in dog. Control D is deselects the marquee. So I'm going to come back over to the right side over here. I'm going to left click my mouse, and it takes the bulk of what I don't want in my photo again. So I'm going to press the backspace key on my keyboard, Control D. All right. Let's come down to the bottom here, left click my mouse, it takes the bulk of that, backspace, Control D. So you can see I'm getting rid of it, but I'm not getting rid of any of me. All right. And let's left click here, backspace, and you can see this is a little bit more difficult, so we're going to have to change our tolerance. Let's come up to our top here. Let's do this first, and let's left click. Now you can see when I left click, I think it takes too much of me or my hair, so I'm going to have to change the tolerance. So I'm going to change the tolerance to about 20, and let's see how that works. A lot better. Okay, it's not taking any of my hair out, too much of my hair. Let's do Control D again. So backspace. All right, so far so good. Control D. So you can see now it's really taking the background out. You just got to do this really slowly. So I'm going to left click over here in this area, backspace, Control D. I'm going to left click right here, backspace, Control D. That is how easy this is. So now to get rid of this down here, I'm going to do backspace, Control D. Now to get rid of this area here, it's a lot easier to either do your magic wand, or in this case, you can use your eraser. It really depends upon what you want to do. I have my eraser tool that I'm going to select, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to select that because the eraser tool is a lot easier in this case. So I'm going to select my eraser tool, erase those pixels, and you got to be real careful. Now you can see that the brush size up here is at 13. That's the default, and it seems like it's easy for me to work with. So if you zoom in, by using my eraser tool, there you go. I'm erasing out all of the odd pixels. Let me see if I have any odd pixels up here. Let me just clean this up here. Come over to this area. I'm going to zoom myself out. The cool thing about this now is I can drag and drop this anywhere, so you can see how I place that in my thumbnails for YouTube. Super easy to do, and that is how easy it is to take out the background in Photoshop. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you like my channel, please subscribe, and thank you for your time. And leave a comment if you like what I have, or if you want me to do something different in Photoshop or Excel or QuickBooks. Let me know. All right? Thanks again.